What's up? What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Earl Shatter, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing the weapon balancing, the lack of updates. We're just overall going to talk about the status of public matches in Call of Duty and how it's impacting how people are enjoying the game. Obviously, from the title and the thumbnail, you guys can get the hint that we're going to be talking quite a bit about the Titan. For me personally, this weapon kind of makes or breaks how much I can enjoy this game. Just based on how many we see in public matches, the class setups that you're allowed to be able to use for this weapon just kind of tears the game down a bit for me. But before we get into the rest of the video, if you guys do enjoy yourselves at any time, make sure you guys show your support for the channel by going down below and smashing that like button. Let's throw a goal of 50 likes on today's video. Also, if you guys are new and want to find your way back to the channel, make sure you guys don't forget to subscribe and also turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on any future content. We are closing in on nearly 4 months since the release of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. If you've been playing multiplayer since the launch, you kind of feel the neglect that we've received as far as not getting content, hardly receiving what we should be receiving for our Black Ops Pass, the lack of weapon balancing, and overall I think the kicker really is the team balancing in this game is absolutely horrific. If you're not playing in a party of 4 or 5, and maybe even 6 when they allowed that, you were just at a disadvantage because typically the players that you are going to get on your team are going to be less than average. They're going to be people who truly do need to be carried, and they're just not teammates that you would expect to have on a constant basis in Black Ops 4. The team balancing is truly the icing on the cake. For me particularly, I would like to see more weapon balancing, just bring something new, bring a new meta even to the game, change what people are using, change what's powerful, change what's been weak for some time. I think for the most part, a lot of the weapons do feel fairly balanced. They don't feel super overpowered, but there's definitely a handful of weapons. The Titan being one of the top as the title of the video, and obviously the weapon I'm using in the gameplay itself. And then the Spitfire is probably number 2, and then the Rampart. It seems like there's almost one from each class. I feel like the Swordfish is super powerful in the DMR from the tactical rifle category. I really don't have much to say about that category, honestly, because they kind of function as they're really designed to. Light machine guns, they're meant to make you move slow. They're meant to make, you have to take time to reload, things like that. When you're using some of the light machine guns, or overall any of the light machine guns in Black Ops 4, you don't really feel like you're at much of a disadvantage. I think the VKM, at least for me, I feel the slowest when I use that. But using the Titan, I mean, you can move pretty fast. You can be very efficient. It just doesn't really truly feel like you're using a light machine gun, which is why I feel like it kind of feels so powerful. On top of the fact that you are able to, of course, use a thermal on it. You can use FMJ 1 and 2, which is the huge problem because it can just completely annihilate streaks. And I think the Titan is probably the worst of them all. If they just went through and fixed this gun so that it would appeal to less players, or that these people wouldn't use it quite so often. It's more of an issue is that people aren't truly actually playing the objectives or going for kills or anything. They're just kind of sitting in their spawn, looking across the map with a thermal sight and spraying whenever they see a body go by. And just so happens that this gun is extremely powerful. I mean, you can truly, honestly call this thing the ultimate anti-weapon. Not only is it really efficient at making people annoyed because you can camp and spray people with the thermal and even hit them through walls and things like that, but those of us that go out there and grind for those streaks in a game and actually bother to call them in are actually not rewarded in any way, shape, or form. We are working with score streaks, so they're not nearly as powerful as they were once when they were kill streaks. But the crazy thing is how fast you can actually take these score streaks down with this gun. You are running FMJ 1 and 2. You can pretty much annihilate a strike team before they hit the ground. Even once they're on the ground, you can completely melt through them, and it honestly makes you feel like the streaks aren't even worth having. If 1 or 2 people are using a setup with FMJ 1 and 2 on the other team, completely ruins the game, completely ruins the flow. And even if you do manage to get your streaks, like I said, they can take them down so fast it's like they never existed to begin with. So if you have, maybe you're on a good streak, try to call in the streaks to carry the team you're on isn't really all that good. Now you really have no support, so you're basically just getting spawn killed, or you're just getting really frustrated with not being able to get any map control. The game overall has some issues, but I really think refreshing some of this weapon balancing, getting people to use a variety of different weapons, changing how some of these weapons actually can be used, maybe getting rid of a few attachments. I mean, in the past, I remember obviously light machine guns having attachments. I just don't remember them benefiting so much from them in the past as they do now. Kind of feel like we're in a position where we're gonna have to do some things to just kind of spice the game up, give people a reason to play. Adding new content is very helpful, but if you add new content but you don't change the way the game is currently being played, I just really don't think that content's gonna make people interested for long enough. I think doing a few different things to some of these weapons, looking into the data, deciding what people are using, why they're using it so much, and either making other guns stronger to kind of compensate, or making a few of these other guns a little bit weaker to make them a little bit on a more even playing field. At this point, it's safe to say that almost every single match you get in, somebody will be using the Titan LMG. If they're not using it, they will pull it out as soon as streaks come pouring in, or as soon as they're not able to get advantage of any sort. It's the go-to weapon for almost anybody looking to anti, and there's honestly other weapons that do frustrate me as well. That's why we are talking about an overall weapon balance. I'm just using the Titan as the most specific example because it is probably at the top of what, kind of greatly impacts how this game is currently being played. I don't hate the weapon. I do think it's a little overpowered. I think there's just a little bit too much for this gun. I would love to see a little bit more balance across the board. Shouldn't feel like you're getting into a gunfight, even if you shoot first and getting completely melted. That just doesn't make sense to me. Let me know down in the comment section below if you guys think that we are overdue for a weapon balancing, and let me know the top 3 weapons you would change. I do want to make it clear this is not just a stab at the Titan itself. Obviously there are many other weapons, as I mentioned before, that could use a little bit of balancing, but this is one weapon that I run into on a regular basis. It affects me recording gameplays sometimes. There's also times where I get really good gameplays and it's ruined part of the way through by somebody who's pulling out this weapon, or people that just decide to camp while using this weapon just in order to ruin the match for me, or at least what perspective I take from it. The gun is overall one of the top. That's why it's the topic of discussion for today. Nothing I hope for more than to see a weapon balance happen, to see some of these things be changed, to see a new meta across the board, see some different guns being used or a bigger variety of them. That's all I'm looking for. Obviously some updates, some new content for the Black Ops Pass, things that will keep this game fresh. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy yourselves at any time, like I said earlier, make sure you guys go down below and show your support by smashing that like button. If you guys are new and want to find your way back to the channel, make sure you guys do subscribe. And of course, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. I appreciate you guys for all the support in today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.